Politics part 2. All right, so today in some cities and states is officially voting day. So I'm going to pose a question, and people can feel free to comment, in the comment section once this is posted. But look around at your community, if you can indeed call it that. It may just be in a neighborhood. You can just look up the definition of community and neighborhood on your own time, but look around. And if your community or neighborhood doesn't reflect the way you think and feel it should, or doesn't reflect what's going on in your home, then you need to question who's in position to take care of that community or neighborhood. And you need to question yourself and people who may have voted to put that person in position. And you need to research that person and check their history while they've been in charge of said neighborhood or community. Now, if your neighborhood or community reflects the ills that may be going on in some homes, then hey, you look outside, you don't see anything different. But if you look outside and you wonder why this is that way, why your streets look like this, why is trash here, why is this, why is this way, why is there so much crime, why is there so much violence, why do I not feel safe, why hasn't this changed? That person said they were going to fix that or take care of that. This person said they're going to do that. If you see those things, then you got to wonder. See, we got to understand that on the local level of politics, those people are in position to do a lot of things. Don't get me wrong, presidents have power, but presidents have illusional power. It's a lot of inner workings that, that'd be a whole nother video. But on the local level, your alderman, your congressman, your senator, the trustees, these people have power to do a lot of things. A lot of commissions and commissioners and things of that nature. People have power to do a lot of things. So when things go bad or go ill in a neighborhood or community, you have to wonder why. So I'm from the city of Chicago, where we've been the murder capital for numerous times. And a lot of communities where people look like me are almost, it's like a terror zone. And I'm not trying to, shit on my city, but what's real is what's real. Some neighborhoods that I would frequent on a bus as a teenager, man, I probably wouldn't even, want anybody to walk through there, who's not from there, who don't know how to move through there. Certain areas, you can't even go to gas stations. Certain areas, businesses are gone where you can't even shop. You got to keep your head on the swivel, as people say and police say. You get told that your car is a marked car, meaning that your car is a car that they're stealing. So you got to be careful. But you have an alderman. You have other city officials. You have a mayor. Because in that same city of Chicago, you can go to another side of town where that's not tolerated. And their alderman lives right there in their community, and he's not tolerating any of that. And the fact that when those crimes creep in, they attack it right away, and they do whatever they can for their citizens to protect themselves, and they do whatever they can to keep their community and their neighborhood. They work hard to do that. It doesn't mean things won't slip through the cracks, but they work hard to make sure if it does, they get on top of filling them cracks. And someone who's in charge of that community or neighborhood makes sure that happens. They go to someone else and say, hey, I'm putting this in to say, hey, we're not tolerating that over here. Or, hey, I'm putting this in to say, hey, our businesses need to have this over here. We won't tolerate any business moving out of here. We're going to make sure we get a store here. We're going to fight to make sure this is here, so that we don't have to travel too far to go grocery shopping. unless we want to. So as you vote, don't just vote for somebody because of how they freaking look, man. Gotta quit falling for that okie doke. We gotta stop that for sure. Because a lot of residents of Chicago have found that out the hard way. You vote for a person for their background, their track record, and their proven work. If a mechanic shows up at your house, if a plumber or if a mechanic walks up to your car and his hands aren't greasy or he's not wearing a shirt, they got that his name on it, and he don't show some signs of his hands or something looking like he's a mechanic, you're gonna be like, no, he ain't touching my car. Very rarely is a mechanic gonna walk up in a suit, come out the back in a suit and say, hey, well, I'm gonna, very seldom is a plumber gonna show up to your house in a suit with no tools and say, hey, I can fix the pipe for you. So you gotta be careful. You gotta start, as I mentioned yesterday, this is more of a chess thing. You gotta start thinking ahead, thinking 4 moves ahead, sometimes even 10 spaces ahead. Because if you think of it right now, somebody's gonna always be able to dangle something in your face. And then you'll look up years later and it's like, man, everything's changed. Everything's gone. Schools are closed. Stores are gone. Crime is at its high. And people are buying up all the property and raising the rents and not taking care of the properties. They're not cleaning them. They're not calling exterminators. They're not fixing the plumbing. But you got to remember, there's no one to blame because you went somewhere and voted said person in charge without questioning. And also not just that. Once you vote a person in, hold them accountable. Hold them accountable. If someone fixes something in your house and it breaks, you call and you hold them accountable. If somebody does something faulty to your car, you call and you hold them accountable. The things people settle for and accept is ridiculous because it's your life and you only get one. You only get one family, loved one, man. And it's like, you can't just settle and let things go. You got to fight for these things. We got to fight for these things. And certain communities, and I'll speak to my culture because I feel my culture is my family. We've heard a history of people fighting to accomplish things for the betterment of a future. And we still will sit and blindly strike something on a paper or push a button of something we have no knowledge of and not hold people accountable. If somebody says they're going to do something, hey, we need to all get together on this block or the next 5 blocks and go up here to this office and make sure they doing what they said they was going to do. Because I invested my time and money and my taxes goes towards making sure they get paid. So we need to go address this thing. And if I don't care if it's just 3 blocks where it's peaceful and quiet and everything's good and people are picking up trash and cleaning everything, then it's just these 3 blocks and the rest of y'all got to do the same thing we did. So people are starting to take action, especially in the city of Chicago, city of New York, other cities. People are starting to take action on a lot of things. Gotta wake up. Not be woke. Wake up. It's 2024. To sit on your hands or put your head in the sand when people are doing things, it's no more. It's no more. And here's the big secret. A lot of companies and industry these days fear the people getting together and changing things. That has always been a fear, but now so is an even bigger fear because we have what? Technology. See, back in the day in history, everyone had to call. You had to go meet a person to plan things out. We have about 5 ways to connect to people all over the place. And so the apps alone, just to connect to people, are just ridiculous. Social media apps are ridiculous to be able to connect to people. You can connect to somebody right now over in Japan and tell them what's going on over here. It's crazy. So there's more power with people these days to make things happen if you just utilize it. But if someone has you scared here and fearful here of doing what's right for your livelihood and for you, they've already won the chess game. And that's the thing. When you're playing checkers, it's a game of fun and I can see everything. But when it's chess, if a person beats you here and have you thinking, I can't move, I can't do any pieces, they got you. And not only do they got you, they got all of this, your body. That body spills out into your household. Then it spills out into the street, which is your neighborhood or say community. Then it spills out into the rest of the world. And before you know it, every city looks like lazy people not doing nothing or speaking up for themselves, getting ran over, stomped on, kicked. Fight for your life. Research. You walk around every day with a computer in your hand. Your phone is a computer. I know a lot of us have experienced the times when you're talking about something, thinking about something, or having a conversation with someone, and you pull out your phone and it's there. You have a computer in your hand. Use your power. Don't just blindly do things for the future. It's 2024. Stop being blind. Use the right eyes. Use the right eye. Use the right eye. And if you use that eye, you're doing God's work. You're seeing through God's view of things. And you're taking a stand. There's no story allegorically where a person who believes in God and has faith doesn't take a stand against a power. So if things continue to get worse, it's because God's people ain't standing up. You know what I mean? It's because God's people are scared. They just gonna go along with the flow. Let everything keep going the way it's going. Like things are better these days. Look around. If things are good, hey, then by all means, keep on trucking, keep on moving. But as you can see, things aren't getting any better. Whether it's education, medicine, law, community, things aren't getting better. Greed is running rampant. People are taking advantage of people. Companies are taking advantage of people. Citizens are getting screwed left and right. Cities are getting ran over and taken advantage of. Stores are moving out of certain cities, meaning jobs are leaving. You know, and employment, if you can get it, it ain't enough to take care of everything. You know, and it's not to be an alarmist about things. It's just to get you to think, change your mindset. Go after it. Go for it. That's always the motto. Fight for your life. Go for it. Don't sit down. Go for it. But the thing is, once people get aware, you get scared because now you know you got to be accountable to yourself. Peace. Fight for your life.